The Baltic States are fully prepared to disconnect from the joint energy system with Russia, said Latvian President Edgars Rinkēvičs. He emphasized that this is an important step to ensure the country's energy independence.
We cannot rule out some kind of provocation. That is why Latvian and foreign security authorities are on high alert. All our authorities and companies responsible for electricity supply are on high alert. I also understand that this is the most important thing for strengthening our security and independence after the withdrawal from Russian and Belarusian gas and oil. But it is also important that our independence is strengthened in the field of electricity.
Переход к европейской энергетической сети Эстонии, Латвии и Литвы произошел на год раньше, чем планировалось, сообщил.
The transition to the European energy grid for Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania happened a year earlier than planned, said Lithuanian Minister of Energy Žygimantas Vaičiūnas, following a meeting with his colleagues from Latvia and Estonia. This means that for the first time since 1961, the entire region will be disconnected from the energy system linking Russia, Belarus and the Baltic States. Meanwhile, Lithuanian media reported that in recent days, misinformation about possible power outages after disconnecting from the post-Soviet energy system has been circulating on social media in Latvia and Estonia. The Latvian government reassured that emergency protocols are in place in case of any external system failures.
So far, we haven't had any attempts to meddle with the system, no provocations, and therefore we are proceeding according to the plans that have been agreed previously.
After synchronization with Europe, the energy system of the Baltic States will become more stable than ever, emphasized the Lithuanian Minister of Energy.
So this is really a historic project, and it also opens a new chapter for our future because we are connecting with truly trustworthy partners. The purpose is that energy will not be used as a weapon.
Estonia's Minister of Climate, Joko Alender, called his step essential for protecting the region's infrastructure from hybrid threats posed by Russia.
We are indeed on the threshold of an historic step. We are making the synchronization to the European frequency area to make our Baltic energy system fully secure and fully independent from the Russian control. We will control our energy system ourselves.
The energy situation for regional infrastructure remains complex. On January 26, an undersea fiber optic cable connecting Latvia's Ventspils with Sweden's Gotland Island was damaged in the Baltic Sea. Latvia and Sweden are investigating the incident. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News.
For decades, the only supplier of gas to Moldova and Russia-occupied Transnistria was Moscow. Physically, the fuel went through the Ukrainian gas pipeline. Already at the end of 2022, against the backdrop of a full-scale war against Ukraine and Chisinau's position on aggression, Russia halved gas supplies to Moldova. As a result, the right bank of the country completely switched to European markets, while the Russian-controlled Transnistria remained on the Kremlin's gas needle. From January 1, 2025, Kyiv closed the valve for Russian gas in the interests of national security, and Moscow refused to provide alternative gas supplies to Tiraspol, provoking an energy crisis.
This crisis is entirely manufactured by Russia. It is, of course, connected to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, but it is quite separate from the dispute over the transit of gas between Russia and Ukraine. This was a crisis manufactured from the beginning by Russia by inventing a supposed figure of $800 million, which supposedly Moldova owed Russia in unpaid gas bills.
As a result, on January 1, 2025, residents of Russia-controlled Transnistria woke up with cold radiators in their homes. Hundreds of businesses stopped working, and the occupation authorities were forced to introduce blackout schedules and extend New Year vacations. While Moscow remained silent, help was offered in Brussels and Kyiv.
Transnistria's possible acceptance of aid from Moldova, Ukraine or the EU, and Transnistria's subsequent supply of cheaper electricity to the rest of Moldova would disrupt Russian efforts to use the energy crisis to strengthen Transnistria's economic dependence on Moscow, to posture Russia as the breakaway republic's savior and benefactor, and to leverage Chisinau's turn to higher-priced European electricity as part of Moscow's anti-EU narratives. From a report by the Institute for the Study of War.
From February 1st to February 10th, Russian-controlled Transnistria will receive gas on credit and the costs will be covered by EU aid. This is to maintain pressure in the system. For its part, Kyiv offers assistance to Chisinau to overcome the crisis. Ukraine is ready to provide Moldova and Russian-occupied Transnistria with free coal in exchange for electricity and to send Ukrainian specialists to the neighboring country to ensure the operation of the Kushuran power station.
The situation now is extremely difficult in the region, and not only because of Russian shelling or the Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Moldova is going through an absolutely artificial energy crisis which Moscow has created for the sake of negatively influencing Moldova's independence and the result of parliamentary elections in Moldova. And this is a classic scheme of Moscow. They create problems for normal democratic power in the country in order to bring the power their own people. They are agents.
Experts link the artificial energy crisis in Moldova to the upcoming parliamentary elections in the country. During the presidential elections and the referendum on the country's accession to the European Union, Chisinau officially claimed hundreds of millions of dollars spent by the Kremlin to destabilize democratic processes. Analysts do not doubt that Moscow will not miss the opportunity to bring its proxies into the Moldovan parliament by any means. Reported by Serhiy Kulias, Larissa Petruk, UATV News.